You see, attraction isn't built through endless texting or chasing someone. It's built through energy, the way you carry yourself when you're not with them. The secret isn't to try harder, it's to become harder to forget. When a woman thinks about you all day, it's rarely because of what you said, it's because of how you made her feel. She remembers your calmness, your focus, your silence that speaks louder than attention. It's in the way you listen, not to reply, but to understand. You don't make her think about you by forcing her to. You make her think about you by giving her something to miss. Mystery is not manipulation, it's confidence with boundaries. When you stop giving all your energy away, you become magnetic, be unpredictable in your peace. When others overreact, you breathe. When others chase, you observe. When others speak too much, you say less. Because real presence doesn't need noise. There's something deeply attractive about a man who doesn't seek validation. He's not trying to impress. He's not begging to be seen. He's simply being, and that energy pulls her in like gravity. Every time she remembers your calm voice, your gentle pause before you speak, she'll start wondering, what's he thinking about? Who is he becoming? And that's when you've done it right. Don't chase her attention. Chase your evolution. The more you grow, the more your energy speaks for you. You become the kind of man who doesn't need to talk about his worth. He embodies it, remember? Women don't fall for the loudest man in the room. They fall for the one who makes them feel safe in silence. When your silence holds peace instead of emptiness, you become unforgettable. Be the man who leaves a calm after every conversation. She'll find herself replaying your words in her mind, trying to understand why your presence feels so grounding. It's because you weren't trying to impress, you were simply being authentically composed. She'll think about you all day, not because you texted her constantly, but because you left her with something rare, emotional peace. In a world full of noise, peace becomes luxury, and you become that luxury. So stop chasing, start building, build your mind, build your calm, build your focus. When you master yourself, you become unforgettable to her and to everyone who crosses your path. Emotional control is not about pretending you don't care. It's about caring deeply and still choosing peace. It's the art of being in the storm without letting the storm live inside you. People think strength is loud, that it's in how fast you can respond or how hard you can hit back. But real strength is in how long you can stay calm when everything around you is designed to break that calm. The one who can stay centered while everyone else is losing themselves, that person becomes unforgettable. Think about it. Every time you react too quickly, every time you let anger, jealousy, or ego lead your actions, you hand over your power. Emotional control means you don't let temporary feelings destroy permanent relationships or your inner balance. When someone tries to provoke you, when life throws you challenges, and you simply breathe before responding, that's when you start to evolve. Imagine this, you're driving and someone cuts you off. The instant reaction is to shout, to chase, to prove a point. But what do you really win? Nothing but a few seconds of ego satisfaction and a few hours of emotional exhaustion. Now imagine this instead. Someone cuts you off and you just smile, turn the music up, and continue your journey. You didn't lose your peace. You didn't let a stranger control your energy. That's emotional power. The world tests you every day. Someone speaks to you with disrespect. Someone ignores your effort. Someone disappoints you. Emotional control is not ignoring the pain. It's acknowledging it without letting it dictate your behavior. When you can sit in silence with your anger and not explode. When you can face rejection without letting it define you, that's when you're truly growing. People remember calm energy because it's rare. In a generation addicted to reactions, the one who pauses before responding becomes magnetic. Imagine being around someone who doesn't panic, doesn't overthink, doesn't explode. Someone who carries peace like a fragrance. You feel safe with them. You start craving their energy. That's what emotional control does. It turns you into an anchor in a world full of storms. Think about moments when someone misunderstood you. Maybe you wanted to explain, to defend yourself, to prove your point. But then you realize something. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not every battle needs to be fought. Sometimes silence wins louder than words. Emotional control is learning to choose silence not because you have nothing to say, but because you know your peace is worth more than being right. In relationships, emotional control is everything. Imagine two people arguing. One is shouting, the other stays composed. The one shouting may seem powerful, but the one who stays calm controls the entire tone of the situation. Your calmness disarms chaos. It makes the other person question their own energy. When you stay calm, you're not just managing your emotions, you're leading the moment. Emotional control doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you master them. You don't deny anger, you manage it. You don't hide sadness, you understand it. You don't ignore fear, you walk with it. It's a quiet form of intelligence, emotional intelligence. Think of a glass of water. If it's still, you can see your reflection clearly. But when it's shaken, everything becomes blurry. That's what happens to your mind when you lose control. Emotional control is keeping the water still. When you stay calm, you can see life clearly, make better choices, and respond from wisdom, not wounds. You will face people who test your patience, situations that trigger your ego, moments that break your expectations. Emotional control is choosing not to let any of that turn you into someone you're not. It's realizing that your reaction is your responsibility, not the world's. Sometimes, walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. Not replying immediately is not avoidance, it's power. Not proving your point doesn't mean you've lost, it means you've evolved, because the one who reacts loses focus, but the one who observes learns. You attract peace when you become peace, and when you carry peace, people start noticing. They can feel something different about you. You're not moved by gossip, you're not shaken by hate, you're not desperate for attention. And that calmness becomes your charm. Everyday life gives you opportunities to practice this. When your partner says something hurtful, when your friend disappoints you, when work drains you, breathe, take a moment. Don't let that first wave of emotion decide your response, because every second you take before reacting, you grow a little more into your higher self. Real power is quiet. It doesn't need to prove, it doesn't need to argue. It simply exists. Emotional control makes you untouchable, not because you don't feel, but because you've learned to feel without falling apart. It's about mastering yourself so deeply that no one's behavior can take you away from your own peace. And when you carry that kind of calm, you'll notice something magical. People start trusting your energy. They start seeking your presence. They start thinking about you when they need grounding, because in a world full of chaos, the calm one always stands out. Mystery with authenticity is the balance between showing who you are and keeping enough of yourself sacred. It's not about pretending, it's about protecting. When you're authentic, people feel your truth, but when you add mystery, they crave to know more. The mistake most people make is that they reveal everything too soon. They tell their whole story before anyone has earned a single chapter. And when you give all your depth away instantly, you leave nothing for curiosity to breathe. Think about the most captivating people you've met. They don't talk too much about themselves, yet every word they say feels deliberate. You sense that there's more behind the silence, and that's what keeps you intrigued. Mystery makes your presence powerful, but authenticity keeps it real. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being selective with your energy. In daily life, you see it everywhere. The coworker who doesn't gossip, yet everyone wants to know what they're thinking. The friend who listens more than they speak and somehow becomes everyone's secret keeper. That's the quiet magnetism of mystery mixed with honesty. When people can feel you're real, yet can't completely read you, you become unforgettable. You don't need to overshare to be understood. The less you explain yourself, the more your actions speak. Authenticity is your foundation, being genuine, kind, grounded. Mystery is your boundary, keeping parts of your mind and heart private. When you master this balance, you move through the world with quiet confidence. In a time where everyone broadcasts every detail of their life, holding something back becomes powerful. Mystery doesn't mean hiding who you are. It means not giving everything away for free. People respect what they have to earn. When they realize your attention, your thoughts, your time are precious, they start valuing them more. When you walk into a room, don't announce your worth. Let your calmness speak. Let your silence hold weight. Let people wonder what drives you, what you're thinking, what you're becoming. Because mystery with authenticity is not about being seen by everyone. It's about being remembered by the right ones. Purpose over attention means you stop living to be seen and start living to become. It's choosing the road of growth instead of the noise of approval. Most people spend their days chasing eyes, likes, validation, but very few chase purpose. They want to be noticed, not remembered. They want applause, not alignment. But here's the truth. Attention fades fast, purpose never does. Think about it. Every time you post something, every time you seek someone's reaction, you hand over a piece of your power. You start living through their opinions instead of your direction. And the moment people stop clapping, you stop moving. That's not living, that's performing. Purpose is different. Purpose is silent. It's that inner fire that keeps burning even when no one's watching. In daily life, you can see the difference. A man chasing attention checks his phone every 5 minutes, desperate for proof that he matters. A man chasing purpose checks his progress, not his notifications. One looks for validation, the other looks for improvement. And the crazy thing is, when you stop chasing attention and focus on your purpose, the right kind of attention starts finding you naturally. Think of the gym. One person works out just to post a picture. Another works out to build discipline. The first one gets temporary admiration, the second one gets permanent transformation. Purpose gives you strength when attention is gone. When you work for attention, you burn out fast because the world moves on quickly. When you work for purpose, you never run out of fuel because your why keeps you alive. Purpose doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be consistent. You can be unseen for years, and that's okay, because real growth often happens in private. The tree doesn't make noise while growing roots. It becomes strong in silence. And one day, when it rises, everyone sees it, not because it shouted, but because it stood tall without needing to. Purpose is peace. Attention is pressure. Choose the one that feeds your soul, not your ego. Peace as power is the ability to stay calm when the world tries to pull you into chaos. It's knowing that your reaction can either build peace or destroy it. Most people think power means dominance, loudness, or control over others. But the strongest kind of power is silent. It's in the way you hold yourself when others lose themselves. Peace makes you untouchable because no one can take away what they can't disturb. In daily life, think about that one person everyone goes to when things fall apart. They don't speak the loudest, they don't panic, they just stay grounded. Their calmness brings comfort. That's real power, not through fear, but through presence. When you walk into a room full of tension and your energy softens the air, you've mastered peace as power. Imagine being in an argument. One person is shouting, trying to dominate. The other listens, breathes, and replies with clarity. The calm one holds the true control. Because peace disarms chaos, it shifts the energy without aggression. When you respond with calmness, you remind others that not everything deserves a reaction. Your silence becomes a mirror that exposes their noise. Peace is magnetic because it's rare. In a time where everyone is quick to argue, prove, or defend, the one who stays peaceful stands out. People begin to trust you more, rely on you more, and feel safe around you. Peace gives you emotional gravity, the kind that pulls people closer without effort. Even in love, peace is the most powerful form of attraction. When she feels your calmness instead of control, your patience instead of pressure, she feels safe. She stops guarding her emotions because your energy tells her she's secure. Peace doesn't demand, it invites. It doesn't shout, it whispers. When you start choosing peace over reaction, you start controlling your reality. You stop fighting small battles that steal your focus. You stop trying to fix everything that doesn't deserve your energy. Peace makes you powerful because it keeps you free. It's not weakness, it's wisdom, the quiet knowing that calm minds always win the storms others create. Leave emotional impact means to touch someone's heart so deeply that your words linger long after you're gone. It's not about sounding perfect, it's about being real. People don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. Emotional impact isn't created through fancy speech or flawless charm. It's created through presence, through authenticity that cuts through the noise of pretending. Think of a conversation that stayed with you for years. It wasn't full of complicated words, was it? It was something simple but true. Maybe someone said, "I believe in you," at the exact moment you were about to give up. That's emotional impact. It's the ability to plant a feeling inside someone that grows even when you're not around. In daily life, most people talk just to respond. They rush through words, trying to impress. But the ones who truly connect are the ones who listen, who pause, who choose words that come from a place of sincerity. When you look someone in the eye and speak with emotion that's pure, they feel it. They can't explain it, but they remember it. You leave emotional impact when you stop trying to be interesting and start being interested, when you care without trying to control, when you give your time without looking at the clock. That's when your energy begins to speak louder than your voice. Imagine a man who doesn't just compliment her looks, but notices the way her eyes light up when she talks about her dreams. Imagine someone who listens without interrupting, who remembers the small details she didn't think mattered. That's what makes you unforgettable. Not grand gestures, but small moments filled with genuine presence. Emotional impact is built through consistency, through how you treat people when there's nothing to gain, through the warmth you bring to silence. Sometimes it's not what you say, but how gently you say it. Sometimes it's not what you do, but how deeply you care. People feel your energy before they understand your words. And when your energy speaks peace, respect, and sincerity, you become the kind of person they can't stop thinking about. There comes a point in your journey where you realize that attraction, connection, even love are not about chasing or convincing. They're about becoming. Becoming the kind of person whose silence speaks, whose energy calms, whose presence lingers even when they're gone. The goal is not to make someone obsessed with you. It's to become someone unforgettable by the way you move through life. People are drawn to rare energy, to the man who carries peace when others carry chaos, to the one who listens when others shout, to the one who leads with calm instead of control. When you understand yourself deeply, you stop trying to impress. Your calmness becomes your confidence, your patience becomes your power, your self-awareness becomes your magnetism. The truth is, everyone is searching for someone who makes them feel safe without saying a word. And that safety doesn't come from looks or money or attention. It comes from depth. It comes from emotional control, mystery, purpose, peace, and presence. It comes from being the person who knows their worth without having to prove it. The world will tell you to be louder, flashier, more visible. But real power often walks quietly. Real presence doesn't need an introduction. It's felt. When you walk with purpose, people feel it before they see it. When you talk with intention, they listen before you even finish. And when you leave, they remember not your words, but how your energy made them feel. Don't chase to be wanted, grow to be valued. Stop trying to be everyone's favorite and start being your own standard. The man who builds himself doesn't beg to be seen. The world finds him. Because light doesn't chase anyone, it simply shines, and everything drawn to it appears naturally. Every great connection starts with one thing: self-mastery. The more you understand yourself, the more people are drawn to understand you. The more peace you hold, the more others crave your energy. And when you carry peace, you carry power, because peace is what the restless are always searching for. In moments of doubt, remember this: your silence can speak louder than arguments. Your patience can destroy ego faster than words. Your discipline can outshine noise. And your calmness can build respect in places where chaos once ruled. The people who truly change others' lives aren't the loudest. They're the most centered. They don't demand attention, they attract it. They don't try to be unforgettable. They simply are, because they live with intention. The energy you bring into a room can heal or harm, inspire or drain, connect or divide. Choose to be the one who heals, the one who inspires, the one who moves through life with purpose instead of pressure. When you focus on becoming a man of peace, purpose, and presence, you don't just make her think about you, you make her feel you. You become the calm she didn't know she needed, the stability she didn't know she was craving. Not because you said the right things, but because you are the right energy. One day, people will look at you and wonder how you stay so composed, how you remain calm in chaos, how you walk with quiet confidence. And the truth will be simple: you mastered yourself. You stopped needing to be understood and started understanding. You stopped chasing noise and started building depth. So keep your peace sacred. Guard your energy. Speak less, mean more. Move with grace, not haste. Don't tell them who you are. Show them through how you live, how you listen, how you carry yourself when no one's watching. Because at the end of the day, real attraction isn't built through games or tricks. It's built through the quiet power of a man who knows himself so deeply that the world can't help but notice.